my name is Rick. How are you? I'm here to talk today about recovery. And really what I want to speak to you about is whether or not you think that you might have a problem. And if you've got a problem, then I want to tell you that there's a solution available that can make your life better. If you think you feel restless, irritable, or discontented, then you have kind of the symptoms that a lot of people describe as reflective of people who maybe have an addiction problem, maybe have a drinking problem, maybe have a problem with eating disorders. And guess what? I'm one of those people. And I have not just one of those problems, not just two of them, but three of them. There's a really great thing, which is that when you were born, I believe that you were born perfect and faultless. And you felt well and everything was good and you knew intuitively how to handle the situations and the problems in your life. But what happens is that over a lifetime, we develop these character defects and we develop these negative ways of dealing. We develop what's called being restless, irritable, and discontented. And what they describe in the literature of some of the recovery programs is that if you're somebody who's restless, irritable, and discontented, then you'll stay that way unless you can enjoy that sense of ease and comfort, which comes at once. If you're an alcoholic, with taking a few drinks. If you're an addict, whatever your drug of choice is. If you have an eating disorder, it can be with starting to compulsively overeat. It might be exercise bulimia. It might be anorexia. But whatever it is, the whole idea is that you don't feel well, so you medicate. And that's what I did. I self-medicated. But what happens is that the minute you start to consume any of those things that could be a problem if you're actually an addict, then it's only good for a little bit. You have a little bit of serenity from taking that first drink or first few drinks, from taking those first few drugs, from taking really those first few bites, whatever it might be. It can be relationships, it can be lots of things. And once you start, then the obsession that got you started turns into a compulsion if you have an actual problem. And that compulsion causes you to continue to consume and to keep going because the serenity gets lost that quickly, right? You have a few drinks, but then all of a sudden it doesn't last. And the only real lasting satisfaction can come from facing life on life's terms, can come from dealing with the problems that you have. So the thing I said in the beginning was that we're perfect and faultless, that we're born that way. And I got that from someplace. I got that from a guy named Lao Tzu, who was the one who wrote the Tao Te Ching thousands of years ago. He's like a Confucius type. And what he said was that every human being's essential nature is perfect and faultless, which I believe. I believe all of you and all of us are born perfect and faultless. But then he said, and this is thousands of years ago, he said, perfect and faultless, but after years of immersion in the world, we easily forget our roots and take on a counterfeit nature. So that counterfeit nature is the mask that I wear for the world. That counterfeit nature are the character defects that I develop to try to deal with things because I'm always defending myself, I'm always having problems. I have problems with pride, I have other problems. So I'm not here to discuss specifics about how you get better. And it is a way that's proven, and it's a way that has worked for millions of people like me, people like you. But the point is that you went from being perfect and faultless to a place where you are feeling restless, irritable, and discontented. Do you ever feel that way? I know that I do. Even after all these years of being involved in the solution, it's kind of under my skin, it's still there. And I know that if I let myself stay that way, then I'm going to seek out medication at some point. So there are things I have to do, and I do them on a daily basis. But here's the good news. In these materials, they talk about what's possible. So what's possible is kind of like a return to that innocence of being perfect and faultless. It is going to a place where you can be, and this is what the materials describe, happy, joyous, and free. And when you think about that, happy, joyous, and free is a great state to be. Free of the addiction, free of the alcoholism, free of, even if it's an eating disorder, whatever it might be, that causes you to become restless, irritable, and discontented. And it's a wonderful way of life. Being happy, being joyous, being free. So where I used to be, before I came to the program, was continuously angry and knowing a lot of fear, but thinking I was fearless, but underneath I had a lot of fear and resentments. So if you said something to me that I didn't like, it would make me mad, and then I would just keep repeating over and over and over again in my head a conversation with you so that you finally figured out what was wrong and accepted it. But every time I had that resentment, every time I had the rethinking about what was happening, it became farther removed from reality, you know? So there are things that we can do, and it's a specific program. It can be all different kinds of ways. For instance, there are those 12-step programs, and it's something that I'm involved in. There are treatment centers. So I work in a treatment center, Evolutions Treatment Center. And I'm not here to try to publicize Evolutions. I think it's a wonderful place, and I think it's a place that can do a lot of good. But the point is, maybe you're in a place where you need professional assistance to kick things off, to get things started, to have something direct to put you in a position, in a place where you're surrounded by help. And that's just what this place is, and that's just what a lot of places are. The people who work in these places, like me, love you. We care about you. We do that because we are you, you know? So you have to decide for yourself, do you ever drink against your will? Do you ever say, I'm not going to drink after 5, I'm not going to drink after 7, I'm only going to have wine, I'm only going to do it during the weekend, and find yourself crossing those lines in the sand all the time? Do you ever say, well, I'm going to get so much of this drug, and I'm just going to do a little bit, and I won't do it after midnight, and I won't do this much, and I won't do that much, and find yourself doing drugs or drinking against your will? Do you ever find yourself saying, I can just have a slice? I can have a slice. So I was one of those people. I said, I can just have a slice, and I buy an extra large pizza, and guess what? Goodbye. I had no control. And it's shocking. Some of you are thinking, food, really? Like you can't control food? And that's almost an embarrassment at first. But today I know it's one of the best things that happened to me, because it brought me to a solution that got me from restless, irritable, and discontented to being able to discover the problems, and get rid of the problems, to put myself in a place to open up character defects so that they could be filled in by a good life. I've got a great life today, and I hope that you find your way, if you need it, to the same kind of life that I had. I appreciate your listening, and have a great day. Thank you.